Volunteers resigning kennels and building in need of repair, and thousands of dollars of donations in question.
That's a lot. And those are just some of the complaints volunteers have about the management at the Clermont County Animal Shelter.
Like shelters across the country, Clermont County's is at full capacity. But it's not just the number of dogs there are to care for that's putting a strain on staff and volunteers.
Something has to change, or else the shelter's just not going to be able to thrive or survive.
Megan Dashley has been volunteering at the shelter for more than a year now. She's one of several people who recently reached out to Fox 19 Now, voicing concerns about the state of operations after they say complaints to the county went nowhere. The alleged problems include, but are not limited to, a shortage of kennels and inadequate outdoor space, resulting in the dogs having to spend as much as 22 hours a day locked up, often in unsafe conditions.
19 Now made multiple public records requests, and we were able to obtain this string of emails sent by staff and volunteers. They detail many of the same issues outlined in this editorial that was published by our media partners at the Cincinnati Enquirer,
including the promise of a commercial-grade washer and dryer that Dashley says has fallen flat, and thousands of dollars in donations she says are unaccounted for.
There's just so many layers that go into play, and the more the struggles have piled up, the more staff we've seen leave. We've seen their mental health decline. We've seen the dogs' mental health decline. And with no staffing, we've lost hours, which makes it even harder for adopters, fosters, volunteers to get in there to do our part.
June 5th, Dashley and several other volunteers and staff members went to Clermont County commissioners and shared a dire message.
No leadership, no cats, a blown medical budget by May, reduced hours, misuse of funding. How can the county see this as a success?
Clermont County took over operations of the shelter back in 2021. In 2022, Purina made a $20,000 donation. According to this article on the county's website, the money was intended to be used for facility upgrades.
There was money donated to the animals at the animal shelter that was supposed to be outdoor kennels, covering for the outdoor play area, a dishwasher, the washer and dryer. I don't even know what's going on with that, but everything takes at least 2 years. So the dogs can't wait 2 years.
So we went to county commissioners to find out what's been the holdup.
You know, I think sheltering of canines is, it's a challenging business.
Commission President David Painter says since the county took over operations, there have been several improvements made, like eradicating a rodent infestation, a new HVAC system, and a repaved parking lot. He also addressed the Purina donation, which he says was unrestricted, meaning it could be spent however the county deemed necessary. There was also a $60,000 private estate donation that was specified for that new washer and dryer, wash tub for the dogs, roofing materials for outdoor kennels, and a new dishwasher. Painter blames government red tape for delaying some of those upgrades.
I think that was taking too long, and I agree that it was taking too long. Some of the differences in that is when you modify the inside of a government building, you know, there are protocols and plans that have to be followed.
Since the county took over, Tim Pappas has served as both the dog warden and supervisor of the shelter. It's something Painter says has taken up a lot of his time, which is why they're now looking to hire a second person.
I just think it's the best direction for the shelter. You know, what pulls him away is court issues, you know, where he has to go over and he has to be that person that represents the county and also represents, you know, the condition that canines were put through. You know, he has to meticulously document every piece of that evidence.
Painter tells us they're now in the process of getting bids and plan to have the commercial washer and dryer installed as soon as possible. They've also assigned the county's assistant administrator, Angie Livesay, to oversee operations as the shelter's interim director. She didn't want to talk on camera, but according to an email obtained by Fox 19 Now, she says while the issues won't be solved overnight, she's hopeful they will be able to address many of them over the next few months, saying in part, "We have several projects in the works, large and small."
Timeline on the washer and dryer is immediate, you know, for that. The inside kennels have been repaired. Mills fencing came out for us and made those repairs. And you know, Angie will assess the inside of that facility, and any other type of repairs that need to be made, we'll make them.
Action county leaders say show they not only care, but are invested in the well-being of every dog who comes through the kennel doors. Meanwhile, volunteers like Dashley are glad to see something happening, but still wonder why it had to come to this point in the first place.
We're feeling optimistic and hopeful that we can bring change for these dogs, but it comes at the loss of some amazing staff members.
Painter tells us the $1 million is put into the general budget each year, the majority of which he says is spent on staffing. Now, Fox 19 Now did file a public records request to confirm where all the money is going. We're still waiting to hear back for that information. Megan O'Rourke, Fox 19 Now.